Today you'll learn how to answer the very common question, what do you do? You'll learn how to answer this question like a native using natural expressions, advanced grammar, and correct pronunciation. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. The question is, what do you do? What do you do? This is short for, what do you do for a living? Now notice that pronunciation. What do you? What do you do? What do you do? And natives most commonly drop for a living.
So what do you do?
This is the natural question you want to use. You don't want to use what is your job, what is your work. Natives don't use that. But that is what we're asking when we say, what do you do? That is the standard question, but common alternatives are, what do you do for work? What do you do for work? Or what line of work? What line of work are you in?
What line of work are you in, sir?
So when you're asked, so what do? You can answer with your job title. And you would say, I'm a or an, and then the job title. For example, I'm a pharmacist. I'm an electrician.
I'm an electrician.
Now, very important, always use an article with job titles. This is a mistake I see even with my most advanced students, so please use an article. Don't worry about taking these notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's talk about your industry, because you can say I work in and then whatever your industry is. For example, I work in advertising, I work in healthcare, I work in real estate. So these aren't the job titles or the tasks, they're the industry, and that's very commonly done.
I work in real estate.
Now you may want to talk about your responsibilities. For example, I manage social media campaigns. Now you can use the word manage even if you're not technically a manager. It's just saying you have responsibility for that task. I manage social media campaigns. I run a medical clinic. I own a small business that sells ceramic bowls. I'm responsible for. Notice this sentence structure, to be responsible, and then you need the preposition for. Now, because for is a preposition, you'll use a verb in the ing form, a gerund verb. I'm responsible for developing sales campaigns for a tech startup. Now, you may want to talk about your employer. You can say, I work at, and then the place you work. For example, I work at a consulting firm, or I work at a tech startup.
Yeah, I work at a tech startup in Alameda.
So notice this is the place. If you want to specify the employer, it's more common to use for. I work for a logistics company. So in this case, the logistics company isn't the place, it's the employer, even though it isn't a specific name. But you can use a specific name and say, I work for Tesla. You may want to talk about how long and say, I've been working there for about 2 years. You can just be specific, 2 years, or if you say about, it means approximately, a little less, a little more.
I've been working there for the past 2 years.
Or you can say, I've worked there since 2021. Now notice I use both the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. In this specific context, with the verb work, they're interchangeable. You could also say, I've been a graphic designer for nearly a decade, if you want to be unspecific. And notice the present perfect because it started in the past and continues until now. You might talk about when you started, and that would be in the past simple. I started at Tesla a few months ago, or I started as a developer. So notice, as a developer back in 2018. Now, it's very common to give more information than just your job title or just your industry. So let's look at combining information. So remember, someone asks you, so what do you do? And you can reply and say, I'm a, and then your job title. I'm a graphic designer. I work for a small tech startup that you've probably never heard of. I've been there almost 3 years now. Wow, time flies. So notice I added a few conversational lines. A tech startup you've never heard of. Wow, time flies. Because that's how we naturally have conversations. We don't just recite information, we add more character to it. Now also, when you're having a conversation, you're not going to give all the information at once. Generally, you give some information and then pause, and then maybe the person will ask you a follow-up question and say, oh, cool. So, what kind of work do you do? Notice the difference there. What do you do is what is your job title? But remember, a native speaker says, what do you do? But you just told them, I'm a graphic designer. Now, they're saying, well, what kind of work do you do? They want to know about your tasks. What are you responsible for? What do you do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as a graphic designer? So let's review a natural answer together. You might say, I'm responsible for, and then remember you need your verb in ing. I'm responsible for creating social media marketing campaigns. I spend most of my time, you need a gerund verb here, developing graphics on Canva, and I work closely with the sales team to monitor the performance of the campaigns. Again, you may just tell them one area of responsibility, you may give an example, you may give more information, it just depends on the conversation. Let's talk about freelance work. So do you know what this is? Freelance? This is task or project-based work, and generally for one or more employers. And payment is based on work completed. So if you freelance, it's very common for you to mention that and say, I'm a freelance graphic designer. It's not a requirement, it's just commonly done if you freelance. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I mainly work for tech startups. You can say, I've been a freelancer for the last 5 years. So notice here, a freelancer, this is someone who freelances, just like a dancer is someone who dances. So in that context, it's a noun. You can also use it as a verb and say, I've been freelancing since the pandemic. I use since here because the pandemic is a beginning point in time. It's the starting point. So that was the verb in the present perfect continuous because the action started in the past and continues until now.
I've been freelancing a bit for him.
Let's talk about side hustles. Do you know what this is? This is work you do in addition to your main job. And notice that pronunciation, side hustle, hustle. The T is silent, side hustle. So someone might ask you, so what do you do? And you state your main job. I work in marketing. Marketing is the industry. But now you can talk about a side hustle. And I also teach yoga on weekends. So the person knows that teaching yoga isn't your main job, marketing is. So marketing is probably what you use to pay the bills. But then yoga is an additional job, either because you really enjoy teaching yoga or it gives you some extra cash. Or perhaps I'm a teacher and I also run a small online jewelry store. Right now, it's just a side hustle, but I hope it becomes my full-time job in the near future. Often, people want their side hustles to become their full-time job, but that's not always the case. So you may give more information on if it's something you just do for pleasure or because you want it to be your full-time job. You will see a lot of videos on social media talking about the easiest or the best side hustles. Maybe you've even watched some of these videos. So now you know what it means and how to talk about it. Now let's move on and talk about if you're looking for work. Please do not say, I'm jobless, I'm unemployed. These are grammatically correct, but they're not phrases that natives use. A native would say, I'm between jobs at the moment. So you don't have to use at the moment, but the expression is to be between jobs. That's the verb to be, I'm between jobs. And then you can use a time expression if you want. So if I ask someone, so what do you do? And they say, I'm currently looking for work, I understand that they are unemployed right now. So the meaning is there, but it's just not the words that we would use.
I'm currently looking for work.
You could also say, I'm job hunting right now. So notice here, job hunting is the verb. I'm hunting. I'm job hunting. That means I'm looking for a job. You can also say, I'm looking for a job, but it's very common to use the phrase job hunting. But notice, we don't say I'm work hunting. It's always job hunting. I'm job hunting right now. Or you might say, I just finished a contract and I'm currently looking for the next opportunity. Now you might add this information to let the person know, yes, I'm unemployed, but I didn't get fired. My contract naturally ended, and that's why I'm temporarily unemployed. So we say things just to give more information so the person doesn't assume I'm a terrible employee and I got fired. Now let's talk about if you stay at home with children. You can say, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Now, in the past, people would describe themselves, mainly women, as homemakers. I'm a homemaker. But in 2026, this is considered outdated, and you do not hear modern native speakers use that expression. My grandma might have used that expression, but not today. Someone might ask you, so what do you do? Now maybe you say, I'm an accountant. That's your job title. I'm an accountant. I work for a consulting firm, but I'm currently on paternal leave. So notice what I did here. I'm on paternal leave, but I said I work for a company. Because when you're on leave, you just temporarily leave your job, but you still are employed. And notice the expression to be on, the preposition on, and then paternal leave is gender neutral. Maternity leave is for females, and paternity leave is for males. And in North America, it's becoming more common and more socially acceptable for men to temporarily leave work to care for children. You might say, I'm on maternity leave for the next 3 months. Or, I'm on paternity leave until January. So if someone asks you, so what do you do? You might say, I worked as an accountant for 10 years, but now I'm a full-time mom. My kids are still young, only 2 and 5. I'll likely return when my kids are in high school, but we'll see. So notice, I'll likely return. This means I'll likely return to work. I'll likely return to my job, but it leaves it open-ended. And in this case, it is in the past because I'm not on maternity leave. I ended my employment for a period of time. That's why I said I worked as an accountant. Now let's talk about retirement. So to be retired, this is a common sentence structure. And this means to permanently stop working, usually because of age. Hey, maybe you retire when you're 35 because you won the lottery, but it's usually because of age around 65 in North America. So you might say, I'm retired now. To be retired. I'm retired now. I used to be a pilot. So notice here, I used to be. Because this is a routine in the past, but no longer now. I used to be a pilot. Now you could say, I retired last year. Notice the different sentence structure because here I'm using the verb to retire in the past simple. I retired last year after working as a journalist for 25 years. So as a or an accountant, a journalist, job title. Or you could say, I recently retired. Again, this is the verb to retire in the past simple. I recently retired after working in finance, that's the industry, for 30 years.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but I recently retired.
Now, if someone asks you, so what do? You might say, I'm a roof inspector. That's your current job title, but I'm planning to retire next year. So if you're nearing retirement, which means retirement is coming soon, it's in the near future, you may mention that. You could say, I'm a consultant, your current job title, but I'm counting down the months until I retire. If you're counting down the months, it's like saying only 3 more months, only 2 more months, only 1 more month, and you're just watching it closely on your calendar. Now, of course, you may be a student. So if someone asks you, so what do? You can say, I'm a student. That's all you need to say.
I'm a student.
You can give more information. I'm a student at, and then the name of your university or college or academic program. I'm a student at UCLA. Now, if you want to give details about what you're studying, you can say, I'm an economics major. Or I'm an economics student. I'm using an because economics starts with a vowel sound, and that's the area of study. And you might say where you're studying as well, and say I'm an economics student at Harvard or whatever school it is. You could say I'm a student, I'm studying environmental science. So here I'm just taking the idea I had before and putting it in 2 separate sentences. Now you might say, I'm in my final year of university. So it's very common to talk about what year you're in. I'm in my first year, second year, third year, final year, depending on how long the program is. Or maybe you say, I'm a full-time economics student and I work part-time as a server on weekends to pay for school. Because it's certainly possible that you are a student, but you also have a part-time job because you have to pay the bills. So to work part-time, this means to work fewer hours than full-time. So full-time is considered 35 to 40 hours per week. So part-time would just be less than that. You might say, I'm a journalism student. So journalism is the field. I'm a journalism student and I intern for The Guardian. So to intern is the verb. You could also use an intern, and I'm an intern, so you would just use the verb to be. This means that you work for an organization to gain experience. Now, sometimes it's unpaid, sometimes it's for school credit. It just depends on the relationship. Or maybe you say, I'm a computer science student, and I do freelance web design on the side. On the side. This means that you do it part-time, maybe on weekends or in evenings whenever you're not in class. And this is where the expression side hustle came from, because to do something on the side means that you do it in addition, but it's not your main task. Or maybe you say, I just graduated. So here it's to graduate, and your verb is graduate, and you put that in the past simple. I just graduated in September, and now I'm job hunting. What an exciting time. Or you might talk about in the future. I graduate in September. So notice, don't say I will graduate, just use the present simple. I graduate in September, and then I'll start full-time work at a consulting firm. So you already have a job lined up, which is a great thing to have as a student. Or you could say, I recently finished law school and I just started at a local firm, a local law firm. So now you know how to answer the very common question, so what do you do? Do you want me to keep helping you expand your vocabulary? If you do, put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.